The three people who listen to what I say know that I love city builders, and whenever one appears with something interesting, I always ask for it. Fabledom looks like an oil painting, and that's what caught my eye. Though in early access you can already see that there's more to this game than a pretty face. Since you are here, why don't you like or comment this video, or even better, subscribe to the channel for more indie game content just like this one. It's a massive help. Thanks a lot. At that time when Disney seemed to buy everything that moved, I, as a joke, used to imagine what some of the games I analyzed would look like if they were made with their characters. It was a curious exercise because many times games would adapt pretty easily, but none as easily as Fabledom. A fairy tale world where our goal is to court and marry a princess? Tell me this isn't really asking for an adaptation. Fortunately, Greener Games had this idea and adapted it to a city builder. I mentioned it already, but this game is beautiful. It feels like we're playing on an unpainted canvas with all the good and bad things that it implies. The main investment was made in the Fablelinks, name given to the inhabitants of our village, very detailed regardless of the position in which we place the camera, while other elements of the scenery are clearly designed to look beautiful from afar, getting a little washed out when we approach and we are faced with an absence of detail. This does not mean that it is not one of the most beautiful games of its kind I have ever played. The gameplay is relatively conventional, although at this stage it seemed to me a mere shadow of what it could become. We already have access to part of the buildings and structures that can be placed after the game is finished, but at this moment there are essential components to the game that are still missing, the one that stands out to me the most being the absence of an economy, limiting our currency growth to tax collection, something directly related to the number of inhabitants we have. This is quite simplistic. We are able to see which buildings we still need to access and which will still be added, one of them being the marketplace. But I have a doubt whether this addition will bring something significantly different, as it seems only aimed at exchanging products. Something also missing is the military component, since we only have access to our hero, protector of our village, but who, at the moment, only serves to interact with some all elements of the scenario, resolving some game events, something that significantly castrates his usefulness. However, the diplomatic component also seems a bit simple to navigate and limited in its scope. I am curious to understand how this military interaction with other kingdoms will be carried out. So, what are we left with now? We are left with the slow and linear progression of our village, with the addition of housing and services capable of meeting the basic needs of our Fablelinks. The first time I played, I made some mistakes because I didn't know how the interaction between structures would be, nor did I consider the fact that some would have to be placed far from the residences. But as the game doesn't have cloud saves, I was forced to always keep two villages in parallel. I will always have a hard time understanding why the games don't have cloud saves. Regardless, my development was not very different in any of them, and from a certain point I was swimming in money. Considering that at the moment our objective is just to grow, and even the interaction with other kingdoms is limited, our struggle becomes with the way our Fablelinks prioritize their actions. Since they don't have a big problem with going hungry, even with food available, or not producing coal to eat themselves, even if there is no lack of opportunity to do so. As I don't have to invest in anything else, the secret is to have everything in abundance, produce in large excess, create structures with clear redundancy, have all the silos crammed with food, almost forcing everyone to access what they need. With the game as it is, it's very easy to do so, but I believe it will become extremely difficult to reproduce this strategy after the introduction of the military component, something that has the potential to make the game more complex. The currency itself becomes an expendable element after a certain point, as we begin to have no use for it. I believe that once again this will change in the future, because for now it is still an unbalanced mechanic. It's clear what Fabledom tries and will try to do, but I'm not sure if it will ever be complex and challenging enough to become a reference, but even so, it knows how to play to its strengths and weaknesses. It's a very beautiful game and simple enough to please fans and non-fans alike. It doesn't fit into my favorite games, but with this price I can say it's worth what the devs ask for. And I believe that anyone who buys it won't feel that they have wasted their money. See you next time, guys. Bye!